Welcome, everybody, to episode 353 of the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. This happens to be the first time that we are recording in our new northern headquarters in Lincoln, New Hampshire. Every time you try something new, there's always an element of risk. In this episode, the risk I took was trying a new microphone. It's a great microphone, but I just didn't quite have it set up right. So I want to apologize in advance for some of the issues that I had with the microphone pulsing and fading out at times. Besides that, I think you're going to really enjoy this episode with Liz Derstine, aka Mercury, aka Pink Feathers. In this episode, we talk about the relationship between music and running, which she captures so wonderfully in her new short film entitled Ridgeline, which is available on YouTube. It is fantastic, and I encourage everyone to check it out. Here we go.
From the belly of the Beast Coast, Glastonbury, Connecticut, this is the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. We talk about all the fun shit that happens on the trails that most normal people don't care about. The language we use is f***ing explicit and raw like the trails we run on, so don't listen with your kids! No kids. Cultra is brought to you by our Patreons and supporters, and we are 112% listener supported, and support is good.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. I'm your host, Art Byram, and I am joined by the Cultra crew. We have Anna G.
Hey there.
How you doing, Anna?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Hey, I like your background there. You have you
Should
still
I
have
switch
whaleback right there. No, I was
okay.
I was actually pretty much right there today. So a lot less
Can't wait
snow.
to hear about that.
Yeah, I was more on the south side of that. So we'll definitely talk about that sometime. Phred Marola will be joining us. So everybody out there has something to look forward to. But we have a returning guest after many years away. She's come back. It's Liz Derstine, rhymes with pine.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for having me back. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you, Liz. So for super fans of Cultra will remember back one of our most pivotal episodes. It was episode 112, right? So I think that's like a number that holds a special place in my heart. Liz was here for episode 112, where we talked about her FKT at on the AT. People will remember, hopefully, that Liz is a musician of sort of a genre fluid, I guess. Like you kind of cover a lot of different bases with the with your music and everything that you do. But in addition to that, you've also recently had a film released called Ridgeline, which talks about the PCT FKT attempt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was just this past summer that I thru hiked the PCT. Then the film was just released at No Man's Land Film Festival a few weeks ago, and now it's online. It's on Mountain Hardware's YouTube channel.
Excellent. Yeah, I was able to go in and check that out, and it's a great film. Let me just say that right from the start. It covers a lot of the things that running is about, I think. You are one of the unique guests that are able to talk about music and running, two of our favorite subjects here at Cultra. As I returned to running after an injury, I discovered that I really missed hearing the music in my head as I ran through the woods. As I was running, all of a sudden, my head was filled with music. And that was like, I was like, oh my God, I forgot what it's like to be running and just have that, not listening to music, but just hearing it in my head, hearing it just getting that good vibe or whatever you call it going. So
yeah, that's so cool. Was it like a certain song, or was it music that you were kind of making up in your head?
It's usually kind of a mix of all the above. It's
Hopefully that means things are feeling good or like coming along.
They are. Yeah. I couldn't be happier. Liz, as we get started, would you mind giving our listeners a review of your history and some of your background so that they can put everything in context?
Yeah. So let's see. I guess they're like music and running have always sort of paralleled in my life, but I guess I really started with music. I started playing piano at the age of 7, and I'd always liked the outdoors. Like I didn't grow up in a particularly outdoorsy family. My family's very musical, but yeah, my first introduction to the outdoors was like they would send me to these summer wilderness camps in the Poconos in PA. And that, it was like a week long camp at a time. And that was actually my first introduction to the AT. Like, usually these were sort of stationary retreats. But then once I got, made to be maybe 12 or 13, I could sign up for this expedition where, the counselors would take maybe 6 to 8 kids on a overnight trek. And so, yeah, it might have been my first overnight trek ever that was on the AT and camping on the AT. And that's when I learned that it's this huge trail. It starts in Maine or Georgia. Yeah, starts in Georgia, ends in Maine. And it blew my mind to learn that people hike the entire thing, like all in one go, like a through hike. So that just sort of planted the seed in my mind that like, oh, that's something I'd want to do one day. And then around freshman year in high school, so I started at a new high school. My parents were worried about me making friends, and my dad, right, he's like, you should really do a sport. It's a great way to build community. I was not good at sports, but I signed, I did okay in the presidential mile in middle school. And so it was like, okay, well, I could try running. So I joined the cross country team, had a lot of fun. I actually did not really enjoy running, but it was just fun. And, I met a lot of friends that way. And so, yeah, fast forward to college, so I was still playing piano. That I was a piano major in college. I spent a lot of time by myself in the practice room, trying to be the best pianist and musician I could be. And I sort of let running go to the wayside. But then I would see my college cross country team like joyfully running by, like outside in the sun as I was emerging from this basement level floor of where the practice rooms were at my school. And so I asked the college coach, like, hey, could I join the team? This was right before my senior year. It was a small D3 school. They said, sure. So that was kind of the start of me getting really into running. I started to really, actually practice and run on my own in the summer. And like, I tried to see how good I could get. So I kept running as an adult. And in my music career. So I graduated college, moved out to Portland, Oregon, with some friends that I was in a band with. And we actually toured like in a pop band for like 4 or 5 years or so, like off and on. And I ran marathons, and now I'm just fast forwarding some more. I had this big dream of qualifying for the US Olympic marathon trials, which had a qualifying time. So I tried really hard for like 10 years to do that. I came up short. I was still about 6 minutes off of the standard.
You were like a 251, I think, right?
Yeah. That's right. At Houston 2020. Yeah. Good memory or good research.
There you go. A little bit of both.
But yeah, I felt like I was banging my head against the wall trying to go for this Olympic marathon trials goal for such a long time. And then I kind of had in the back of my mind, like, oh, I want to hike the AT one day. I'm a runner. I wonder if anyone's ever run the AT. And that sort of just kind of got the wheels spinning and the idea in my head about running and hiking the AT. And that's what sort of opened the door and led to my hiking the Appalachian Trail, and then many more trail adventures after that. And that's kind of where you and I crossed paths, like right after the AT and coming on the podcast for the first time.
Yes. Very good. Wow. That was awesome.
Yeah.
See, that whole thing should be a movie, right? So, well, that's really great. So, I want to kind of jump in here a little bit because I think that, maybe you could talk about your like between you and Anna. I think that you guys, your paths have been, you've been running on the same area, maybe going to the same classrooms or something, or maybe Anna, you could kind of take it from there and correct
No,
my
I was kind of
overgeneralization.
laughing as you were talking because there are a few things I'm like, oh yeah, the presidential mile. I was like, I did really well in the mile in the presidential fitness test in fourth grade, and I beat all the boys. No, but
Yes.
but there were just some funny things in there.
Oh, that's
Or
awesome.
yeah, or your first trip was on the AT. My first backpacking trip for a week was on the AT. Anyway, there
What?
were just some funny things. But
Oh, that's
I
so
actually
cool.
I told I was telling Art I lived in Cambridge area Boston area for 12 years and Cambridge for most of them. And I actually played at Longy School of Music,
What?
like in the late 90s, you know. And also I passed by Longy like thousands of times
No
because I lived in
way.
the quad up there. So anyway,
That
that was
is, we
kind of
have,
that's
yeah, like
yeah.
parallel lives. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I ran around, you know, Cambridge here and there too, like Fresh Pond and, you know, Mount Auburn and Charles and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So
Oh yeah.
anyway, I'm older, but I was around there, you know, a few years earlier than you and loved being there. And I'm like super excited to hear about someone who's got that dual life kind of going on. And I'm very
Totally.
curious to hear how you sort of mentally balance yourself. I don't know if balance is the right word, but I find sometimes because I have a I play music, I listen to a lot of music, I go see a lot of music, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm doing all this music stuff and oh yeah, what about trails and running? Like, oh, I'm kind of that's sort of going by the wayside, or I'll have the opposite experience where, you know, I'm
Yes.
really focused on whatever adventures I have coming up and I'm like, oh, I haven't been listening to music as much or going to see music. So I'm very interested to hear how you go forward in life and like how that works for you because it's for me it's a total dynamic that is happening all the
Yeah.
time because these are my two obsessions. So
Yes,
yeah.
totally. I mean, everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, so
Yeah.
relatable. I feel like I always think of like a pendulum swinging back and forth
Right.
because it's kind of impossible to, I don't know, to equally do all of the things I want to do with both things all the time. But definitely sometimes in my life, I'm like all in on the trail running stuff. You know, for instance, spending a whole summer hiking a trail. Where for the last 3 years, you know, I've been in Cambridge studying at Longy, and I was very much sort of like focused in that music world and prioritizing that while just sort of squeezing in runs wherever I could and being a little bit sad that I wasn't outside more. So I don't know. So I feel like I'm always trying to find that balance and there's always going to be some compromise, but I don't know. Just I do my best, as it sounds like you are
Yeah.
too.
The movie I watched, I mean, it was so beautiful. Like Art was saying, just um, it was so, I mean, the music setting was so perfect. And then the visuals, the transitions were amazing. I thought the transitions from one thing to the next, and then just seeing your different emotions throughout the movie, I really loved it. And I hope everybody watches it because that's just the kind of stuff I will eat up. I mean, I will watch it more than once because it was so
Oh,
like inspiring. So yeah.
thank you so much. That's such a huge compliment. And then there are so many people behind the scenes that made all of those things happen too. Anna, the director, she took all of my footage and she's the one who edited it and made it, you know, she kind of formulated
Mm,
the story
Mhm.
throughout. Maxwell I'm forgetting his last name off the top of my head, but Maxwell from Mountain Hardware, he did all of the sort of like graphic
Mm.
design and artwork throughout the film that was so beautiful. So it's like, yeah, behind every detail in the film, there's like someone really awesome that made that thing happen.
yes. Now, did you do the whole soundtrack, or was that something that you kind of partnered with them on it? Or how did that work?
Yeah, so a little bit of both. So there's a lot of music throughout the film. I wrote some of it. So like the
Hmm.
very opening track that you hear, that's me. There's maybe like one or two things sort of sprinkled into the middle of the movie. And
Yep.
then there's the very last song that you hear when I'm, spoiler alert, finishing the trail, there's some piano music in the background. That's me. And then there's a title track of the movie called Ridgeline. It's sort of like a pop single. I wrote and recorded that and had a great producer, Joel Roston, that like made it sound good. And yeah, and I actually just released all of it on Spotify and Apple and all of that. So it's all out there. So and all the rest is like not stock music, but music that was picked, like kind of hand selected by Anna, the director.
Okay. Like the part where you're getting, you're kind of like getting ready to run, and there was this little music that was kind of like, it was kind of like all over the place notes, kind of like, as you're gathering stuff, I don't know, you kind of not lay your stuff out, but you're tying up all the loose ends and kind of focusing and deciding what's going to stay and what's going to go.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah. Boy, hey, I do want to recognize that Phred has joined us here. Welcome,
Hi,
Phred.
Hello.
He is muted.
I'm here.
There he goes.
I'm here. It's a good thing I was muted because I was eating dinner before. That's why I didn't even have my camera on. So.
Okay, we'll accept that.
I just got into a very slow run, so.
Okay. And boy, are my arms tired. Wait, no. Sorry, that doesn't even make sense.
From North Carolina, and boy, am I tired. Yes, that's it.
That's right. Yes.
Can I ask a question about having songs in your head when you're out hiking or running, for that matter? This is a different example, but I read the memoir of Diane Nyad, who's the like the crazy swimmer. Do you know who that is?
Oh,
okay.
Swimming to Antarctica.
She swam from Cuba to Florida and just all sorts of crazy things. And there was a movie about her recently. She's a little controversial, but she's, an amazing swimmer, even if there's some question about certain events and stuff like that. But in her memoir, she would do 9-hour like lap swims in the pool. I'm not kidding. I mean, she would have all these diaries about like, today I swam 6 hours in the pool laps and 9 hours or 7 hours, whatever, to prepare for these long distance things. But the way she passed the time, and this is a little different because she's in a pool, and there's nothing to look at, like a tree or an owl or something.
No stimulus.
She would just recite go through songs for hours and hours on end. And she had certain, she just had like a catalog of 200 or more songs that she knew every single lyric to, that she would go through in her head. So
wow,
that is an extreme example, but I'm just curious, Liz, like if you have a song in your head, or do you, like, how often do you have a song in your head when you're out there? And, is it usually your song or is it somebody else's song? I'm kind of curious because I kind of don't have a lot of songs in my head when I'm out in the woods, even though I'm obviously very obsessed with music and I have a ton of songs in my head and or that I know or think of in general. For me, it's sort of they're not really combined so much. I mean, I do occasionally have a song in my head, but it's not like a recurring theme for me. So I was just curious, during your many days on the PCT, I don't know, how often is music in your head, or what are you thinking about if you're not, having a song in your head?
Yeah, I would say for me, music is pretty much always in my head. Like, I feel like it's almost like having tinnitus. Like there's just like whether I like it or not. And sometimes it's, just like a random song that not by me, just something that's on the radio or whatever that I've stuck in my head. Or sometimes, I'm being influenced by the environment around me and something just floats into my head. Then I start to make, subconsciously, but like, a little melody will come out of it. And then, then it'll just kind of float around and repeat and repeat and repeat. So like sometimes like a cool song idea will come out of that. Other times it's just literally the last thing I heard. Like I noticed, and, I have a regular running route in the Boston area, and there's a certain Dunkin' I always stop in just to like use the restroom like mid-run because I know where it is, and there's always something playing on in the background, and then it almost like it's like it imprints and then it just stays floating around in my brain forever. So it's kind of like, for better or for worse, there's always something in there, and it's very influenced by just whatever I hear and what's around me.
Yeah. So does that impede the sort of, worrying about things? Or, I mean, is a song in your head and you're also thinking about things at the same time? Or, how do you describe that when you're alone by yourself for
Yeah.
hours and hours on end?
Yeah.
Like, how do you describe what's going on in your brain?
I think for me, whatever's happened, like whatever music is floating around up there, it's almost, I always feel like it's helping me cope like with whatever I'm doing. And like sometimes even like a mantra, like, text, like words will come out of it. So I don't know. I feel like it's like, it's usually whatever I'm feeling. It's almost like I'm trying to work through it or something like with the music, if that makes sense. Like, I've spoken about this before. But like when I was on the AT, I had a little mantra that was "Give it what little you can." It sort of started as a melody, then turned into a phrase. And I don't know. And on the PCT, I where I was in the Mission Creek section, it's like this washed out creek bed. There used to be a trail, or the PCT used to go along the creek, but then there was a huge hurricane that went through. Everything got washed out and eroded. So instead of having a trail to walk on, you're just kind of stumbling through rocks and a creek to make your way up the trail. And it was so hot that day, or I mean, it was every day because I was in the desert, but I had this phrase, and I'm not necessarily a very religious person, but I just had "Don't let the devil get you down." It was like, "Don't let the devil get you down," and I don't know, it just like that helped me get through it, and I like made a little song about it.
I'm going to listen to that song and I'm going to play it in my head next time I'm having a very annoying time doing something. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
I have to say that for me, like you guys you must be much healthier than I am, because I found that the music in my head is, at one point, I felt like it was the limiting factor. Like that I would just go completely, for some runs when I was alone going for a long time, I felt like I was on the edge of sanity with the music that was echoing, that was banging around up there. Like I had one time I had the the song "I Could Never Be Your Woman," and it has like that it has that march where all of a sudden it stops and it steps down in a time signature or whatever. It kind of slows down, 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 down.
Yeah.
And I would just round a corner and I would be like, and I would hear like one of the little filler beats, and then all of a sudden it would kick into this, like, here I am just humping it up the hill, like, and just and it would, that would get me drive me crazy. I have to mention this other thing too, is that for the longest time we had something called the Cultra karaoke hotline. And that was when you got a song stuck in your head, you could call our phone number, you could sing it, and we would play it on the air.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have to say, so unfortunately, I just this week I went and I looked, and I saw an email that said your phone number is being disconnected. So
no.
It's like tragic. So I sadly must inform our audience that the 203 Dog Gent is no longer our phone number.
Oh no.
It's been taken over. Google took it back. So
imagine someone else gets assigned that number. They're going to have callers they're singing to their voicemail.
They're going to have songs stuck in their head, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of like, it's a good death, I suppose. It's a fitting, it's a fitting death. But I don't know. It's kind of like a it was kind of another time. We used to get many calls. Sometimes I would have to have a show just playing those recordings because we didn't have time to play them on the show. So, but that, we got to kind of huddle up and figure out if we're going to set up another phone number or something.
Yeah, bring
Something
it
a little
back.
different. Yeah. So if you're listening and you want to weigh in on that, I'd love to hear it. If any of our listeners want to, let us know what they think about, um, the culture karaoke line, and whether we should reinstate it. So, and now back to our show.
We did just tell people to call it.
I know, Phred. That's why I was like, are people just freaking ignoring me? Like like complete, like, okay, nobody's calling. And then I was like, why haven't we gotten a call in a while?
Does it
So
say it's disconnected or?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, but you could get it. Like, could you get that number back? I guess is what I'm wondering.
I sent Google an email, and I can't believe they haven't gotten right back to me. Like, no, they don't. I want my free number back. So no, I did say that it was mistakenly disconnected, and I'd like to have it reinstated. And
okay.
So I don't know if anybody knows anybody at Google and they want to pull some strings, that would be great. Hit me up and we'll figure it out. So
somewhere there's a series of recordings of the time warp. Right?
That's right. See, Phred,
yeah.
That's probably why it makes sense, because it gets put into in an alternate reality. We own that. So, we still have the phone number, and we're listening to those. So
Art, I do actually, one of my best friends works at Google, so I'll check on this.
There you I gotta always check my rich and powerful friends.
She's in the phone.
Set us up.
She's in the phone number division, Art. So maybe
I don't think she's definitely not in the phone number division.
That's right.
I will check with her to see if she knows anything about this.
Yeah, one ringy dingy. She probably heard about it in her in her Monday morning meeting.
Yeah,
they probably talked about the culture karaoke hotline. So anyway, yeah. So I guess so. Anna, what's your process for composing or music, and like how does your running involve? How does running and music, how do they tie together for you?
Well, as I was saying before, I don't really tend to tie them together. I mean, when I ran more like roads, and if I were to run around a track, I would definitely listen to music to get myself like hyped up and everything. And actually, I mean, I would listen to music, just not even hype up music. But in fact, I remember during the pandemic, this is like listening to music while I was running, and I ran like half trails, half roads. Let's just say I don't run any roads now, but getting very emotional while listening to like an REM song during the pandemic, because everything was so screwed up or whatever. So that was a little unusual, and that doesn't really happen to me anymore. But I don't know. I think I just get distracted by what I'm seeing, and I spend a ton of time with music outside of running, either listening or sometimes playing or going to see things that I guess I'm filled up with the music. I don't know. For some reason, they don't really tend to cross paths, which is not what you're saying, Liz, but that's just my experience. I mean, I do sometimes I think when I do some hard things, I do get some songs in my head, like a certain race going through a rough time. Sometimes there was a song in my head. I usually find it a little annoying, to be honest, but maybe it's a little distracting too from what's going on.
In a way, and in one way, I feel like I can relate in terms of like choosing to listen to music. Like when I get home, I at the end of the day, I just don't want anything at all. Like I don't, like when I'm in the car, I don't listen to music. Like I don't listen to music passively. And my partner, Chris, loves music. He invested in really nice speakers. Like when he's home, just like doing his thing, there's always music in the house. But like, yeah, when I'm home, he kind of like, I feel bad, but he'll like turn it down for me because he knows that it's almost like too stimulating. Like, I don't know if you feel like that or if that.
Well, I know. Yeah.
Oh,
I was just going to say, like, I used to be able to work with music on, but now I can only work with the highly specific types of music.
Yeah.
I cannot, it is definitely too distracting for me generally to listen to music while working. So like I can listen to jazz, I can listen to some kind of lo-fi hip hop, but that's about it. Like I cannot, that's one thing that has nothing to do with running, but just music other activity kind of connection. Sorry, Art,
I
what were you
I
saying?
I find that is although I like music and I love, sometimes I feel like I run a little bit better, at least temporarily, when I'm listening to it. I find that it kills any creative process that I have.
Hmm.
Like I think I went the first, whatever, 15 or 18 years or something like that. And I had never ever listened to music except what somebody might have played at like an aid station or something like that. I never ever listened to it. And the time that, like, if I had any problem, it was like my superpower. I could be like, how am I going to handle this HR problem at work? Let me go out for a run and I'm going to think about it. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
boom, bada boom, it all of a sudden the ideas just start flowing. And assuming that I can actually remember them by the time I'm done, it was like a magic power. But running with music, although I enjoy it, it's almost like a crutch. And I feel
Hmm.
like it kind of makes me feel lazy, which sometimes that's okay, but other times it's not. If you're trying to solve a problem, for me, listening to music and running, I don't have the third thing. Although I can listen to music and work because I think, I don't know, that kind of takes a little bit of the edge off. As long as you're right, as long as it's like in the back, in the background, especially, yeah, like the jazz or something.
Yeah. No, and it changes over time too, I think a little bit as well. Um, I was gonna say I never listen to anything when I'm on trails. I know some people do. I just like
Mm.
probably for more like safety reasons. I just want to
Hmm.
be in the moment, like
You might
seeing
miss an
things
opportunity
around.
to
Yeah,
you might miss an opportunity to use one of your bear sprays, right?
that's true.
I
Yes.
took bear spray today for the first time ever.
Wow.
That's a good I think that's a good idea. They don't,
Yeah,
you can get a smaller one than the one I have, and you never know. So,
yeah.
but you didn't see a bear.
I didn't. I didn't. I did see I saw one runner and a dog today. That was it. And I was impressed by that. So um up at the top of Whaleback Touch,
So Liz, are you still
top of the
in
trail.
in that in the Cambridge area?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
I'm in the like greater Boston. I live a little bit north of Boston, like kind of right near the Fells Park.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I love having just sort of like easy access to trails, but also still close-ish to the city. And I work just like around the city as a pianist. Like I have a church job, I work at a university, and then just like local music schools. So I'm a little bit all over the place, but then it's nice to have my home base. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, where it is. Yeah.
No, I mean there are a lot of options. I don't know how easy they are without a car, but it seems like you've got like here, just sort of a lot of smaller systems of trails that um, not like expansive like the West, but definitely great for,
Right. Yeah, I've
Mm.
got like
friends.
a
Yeah.
local trail system. Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Now, is Blue Hills near you or no? Or not
That
so much?
is, so I'm a little north of Boston. Blue Hills is a little south of
South,
Boston.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Gotcha.
I mean the Blue Hills is awesome. Like I was training for like a FKT. Like I was going for the Virginia section of the AT, like FKT, and I did a lot of training down there in the Blue Hills because you have these sort of like big steep rocky
Mm.
ledges and lots of technical terrain, which mimics Virginia fairly well for being so far away. So, yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. So running the PCT, what was it about the PCT? What drew you uh, to that trail? I mean, I understand it's one of the big ones, but like
Yeah.
was there anything else to that drew you there?
Yeah. So from 2009 to 2022, I lived in Portland, Oregon. And I was aware that the PCT was there, but like really, I don't know if I ever actually went and hiked on the PCT. But after hiking the AT, which was back in 2020, I had, it was the pandemic. I had driven solo cross country and like then I hiked the AT, then I drove solo cross country back to Oregon at the end of the summer. And yeah, it was like a pretty big transition, just like getting off trail, then also sort of reintegrating into society, but society was also just not, things were not as usual in that year. So I ended up spending, like, I went on a few just like camping trips, like a couple solo trips, hiking on the Oregon PCT. I also spent some time like hiking with a friend, like just going on a few weekend trips, just kind of getting a little bit familiar with the trail. And when I had hiked the AT, I did that supported. I had a support crew. The most I wore was a hydration vest and a water bladder. Like, I didn't really carry a lot with me, but I didn't really know like a ton about actual backpacking and like planning for how to carry all my stuff and set up a tent and just like do all of those things. Like, I was not well versed in those wilderness skills. And I don't know, I felt like in a way I was a little bit limited on the AT because I always had to make sure I ended at a road crossing, like where, my one person support crew was meeting me. So I don't know. I was intrigued about just kind of developing those skills and yeah, spent time on Oregon. And then that just sort of planted the seed, the idea of maybe one day hiking the PCT. And between that time and when I hiked the PCT last summer, I just took on more and more backpacking adventures and started to get more and more comfortable with backpacking solo because that was still something I had never done before.
Yes, because that's got to be, I mean, it's got to be creepy, right? Like at times, I'm not saying all the time, you're probably not obviously you're not like panicking for like all that time.
Right.
But like, there's got to be moments of like where you're saying, oh shit, what do
Definitely.
I do? Like, who's got my back? Who am I gonna, there's like, I got nothing here. What, or like, could you tell us about a specific moment? Like, did you have any times like that you might want to talk about?
Yeah. So my first true solo backpacking trip was the Pinhoti Trail, which starts in Alabama, goes through Georgia, or vice versa. And I remember one night, it was my first or second night on the trail, and I felt just a little bit freaked out being by myself, not knowing what was out there, and definitely I was not sleeping well at all because it was so quiet. But then anytime there was any little rustle or any little twig snap or just whatever, like I could hear it. So all through the night I could hear, what sounded like some huge animal outside of my tent. And there were a few, I could hear something and I'd just be as intimidating as I could and go, hey, like yelling out into the night. And then I'd like zip open my tent and like, get out, ready to scare away whatever was out there. And I never once actually saw anything. And I'm sure it was probably something like a mouse or a squirrel or a bird, but everything, first of all, I'm scared. And then everything just sounds much bigger and, than it actually is.
That is something. I yelled at something today. I have no idea what it was, but I just turned around and I think like a branch, like a spruce or something, a branch was there and then it let go and sprang or something. And it startled me. So I was just like, hey, turn around
it's
like yelling at something. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You're just like a little bit on high alert.
That's right. Shadow bear don't care if you yell at him. So
was there any like particular fear that you feel like is the most prominent of all the fears throughout these adventures times? Like, are you more worried about animals and people, or what is the biggest thing that looms in your mind when you are actually, worried about something?
Yeah, I definitely get anxiety about stuff, and it's usually related to weather and terrain. Because if it's something, with terrain, if it's something I've never done before, which most of the PCT I had never seen or hiked before, I had never, I had been in the Sierra once, but I had never, hiked solo through the Sierra, which is like high mountain passes in Central California. So my fears will definitely balloon just thinking about, what's the snowpack like? What if I get there at a terrible time of day? What if everything's icy? What if I fall down the side of a mountain? What if there is a storm when I get to the top? What if it's too hot? What if I can't find water? It's so I don't know. I get in my head about the elements for sure. When I'm out there, I feel like it's when I'm home and planning trips that I feel a little more afraid of, say, like animals or people or those kind of things. But then usually once I'm actually out there, like I don't know, like I feel pretty in tune with like what's around me. And I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's just safe. Like, you always have to be on the lookout. But I just feel, for whatever reason, like less worried about those things. And maybe it's just because I'm actually there and can see and hear kind of what's around me in the moment, where it's like the big looming upcoming things. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can go up that pass or what's going to be there. So I get in my head for sure.
Yeah, I think like there's something about like, I think the first time that you hike out in the dark, if you hadn't done that, first time you go solo in the dark in the woods is quite an experience, especially if it's not not something that you ease into. Like, it's one thing to be out running and then have the sun go down and you put on your headlamp, and that's okay. But I think there's something about, like, I remember just one time just, going for a run, parking my car in the middle of a place that just had no light, and then just having to leave my car behind and head up the mountain, and then had, like, I think there were some turkeys in the tree that kind of like dropped down to start taking off, and just like scared the shit out of me,
Those, I know exactly what you mean. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Some kind of bird one of my first hikes solo at night, it was a practice hike for the AT. And I thought I heard something really big growl at me. And it turns out it was just the sound of a bird's wings, like flapping away.
Yes.
But it has like growl kind of sound. It's very threatening. And I definitely thought it was a bear, but it was not.
Can I ask, are you're using the word hiking, and I'm just checking, are you really hiking all of these efforts fast, or are you, how often are you running, or can you just describe how that goes?
Oh yeah. So I'm mostly walking. Sometimes I'll throw in a shuffle. Like, the one time on the PCT, I realized if I could get to Cajon Pass or Cajon Pass, I don't know how you say it, but I think I realized, like, oh, it's 15 miles away and McDonald's closes at this time. If I run, I can get there on time. So I ran, and I did make it to McDonald's before they closed. But
there you go.
But I guess your pack is pretty heavy, so it's probably not that comfortable.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm carrying, so much stuff that just the impact on mostly my feet. I feel like feet and knees. It's like I can run, but then I'll it's like you're gonna pay for it. Like, I remember the next day, I did a lot of running because I had another goal of getting to Hikertown by the end of whatever day it was. This is still somewhere in Southern California, and it's like I made it to Hikertown, but then I just felt like such garbage the next day because I ran so much to get there in time. So I feel like that walking, it's so much easier on your joints, but of course it's slower. So it's like always trying to find that balance.
Yeah, no, I've been intrigued by, like, seeing the different kinds of fastest known times. Hike 17 hours, sleep less, run 14 hours, sleep more. But the running is more tiring. So I've always been kind of fascinated by this. I think it probably depends on the person. I just know that, I've read all the various books, and like Jen Fred Davis, like, she was solely hiking, right?
Hiking.
And not getting as much sleep as the person who did it 14, who was moving for 14 hours. But
right.
It's really interesting. I personally find, like, walking is so much which makes sense. Just like I'm kind of, if I were to do that, I would so much be much happier walking than, running, even if I didn't have a big pack on my back, just because the energy level is so much lower. So,
absolutely. I mean, for that many hours, it's hard on the body. And it's like, for, if you can do it, great, like good for the people that can like find a sustainable way to do it. But yeah, it's rough.
Now, have you talked to other people who have done FKTs or studied some of their strategies and things like that? And like I know, like and I'm going to mispronounce Carol Sabe, right? Am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He like the thing that I heard that he did, which was like, it's not like a huge mind-blowing thing, but one thing that he would do is he would have two different types of packs, just because they would wear differently on him. They wouldn't wear the same part of his body every time. And he could just change them out too. Like he wouldn't sit there and have them, oh yeah, here, stuff, fix my pack up and refill the thing, empty my garbage. It was like, he just like drops it and throws the next one on and goes. And it's like,
absolutely
done. And he's one who said, oh yeah, I'm not going to hike all night or try to run all night because I'm going to be tired in the dark. And that's just not good.
No.
So he was like, let's wake up early, get rid of the nighttime, run in the early morning, and then, stop at dark.
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting to hear like everyone's different strategies. And like, I feel like the cool part or cool thing about this world is that like in general, like everyone's pretty friendly. I feel like it's it's such a kind of niche sport that like I would say like many people like talk to each other and like are very open. Like I feel like Carol Sabe, for instance, like he was really open to like letting me ask him questions like leading up to my AT hike. It was just over email, but it's like, I wasn't anyone, like he didn't have to take that time, but he did. And same thing with Jen Farr Davis. Like she, I was in her area and she just like let me hang out with her for an afternoon, like while she was doing chores and like, I don't know. So, I feel like in general, like people are pretty open to sharing their knowledge if you ask, which has been really neat. And then I've also just met so many cool people through doing this. Tara Dower, who has the overall AT record now, she, I met her when I was hiking the AT, and she was running Jen Farr Davis's hostel at the time. And both of them came out to say, hey, and then Tara spent a day with me on the trail. We had never met before, but just became friends through that. And it's like been so cool to follow her trajectory and her career, and then like learn, like, I don't know, I feel like she kind of got a firsthand look at like someone like doing or like attempting an FKT and spending time with me when I was doing that. And then like, I feel like I've learned so much from her too. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just a cool community. And it's like, I feel like usually if you're nice and like put good vibes out there, like people are generally pretty receptive and open to being nice back.
Yeah, that is, you know what? I think that it's a unique thing. Like you think about like with Yukon and Duke, would they be like talking about like, oh yeah, so how do you practice your threes? And sorry, congratulations to Yukon, by the way. So yeah, it is really, that's so nice to hear. And it seems like, I wonder how much, especially with FKTs, I wonder how much buzz has to do with that, the guys who set up the FKT concept and really put it on the map, because they made it a point like where, especially in the beginning, you would have to like state your intention.
Yeah.
And it would be like, I, Arthur Byram, hereby do intend and state my intention to set the initial FKT of the Metacomet Trail. I shall be
Right.
starting on this date and be doing it in such a fashion. Any who challenge my worthiness and don't believe me can, inquire,
Yeah, it's like very
So
formal.
it
And
is.
oh yeah, so I love when people still follow those formalities, like even if you don't have to. Like it's just a cool way to make friends and meet
That's
people.
right.
Like I don't know, I have set some FKTs and I have had those FKTs broken, and it's like I always enjoy when people reach out, and like I would always be very happy to help. And then like I don't know, some like I feel like sometimes, and there's not like a hard rule that says you have to declare your intentions and write a novel about what you did. But like
Hmm.
I just like I had a record of mine broken, and I think they, just submitted their Strava link, and that was that. But I was like, I want to know like how you felt and like
That's right.
where you
Show me some
slept
blood.
and like I don't know, like where's the story? Oh.
Yeah.
I noticed that you in your movie that you were holding the memoir Thirst, which I read.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I wonder if she read that before or after.
Yes, I've read it. I've read it a few times at least,
Okay.
like once when it came out, and then like once again leading up to the AT, and then once just for fun, and then I think I read it again just to actually do some research and see like, oh, where was Heather on this day, and
Yeah.
so
For
yeah,
for
it's a
those who
great
don't
book.
know, this is Heather Anderson's memoir about the PCT, and wait, that's the one about the PCT, right?
Yeah, it is.
She
Yeah,
also wrote the mud blazes and whatever.
yeah,
I thought
Mud
Thirst
Rocks and
was like
Blazes. Yeah,
such a well-written memoir. I mean, I read a
yeah,
lot of memoirs, and she's such a good writer for also an amazing athlete.
yes.
It's a really, really amazing read, and so emotional too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
It's like it sets the standard, you know? I mean, not that you have to be like this amazing writer or whatever, but it's like I don't know. I feel like that's the cool thing about stuff like this is like I don't know, like the legacy and the stories and
I feel
all
like
of
you should
that.
all have a secret handshake. Is that? Do you?
Yeah.
Like if
Right.
I think you were maybe
Whoa.
interviewed by Heather, like would you have like done some fist bump PC, C thing or something, or I don't know.
That's right. It's
Um,
something you learn on the trail, right?
yeah, right.
Oh
Can I
my
ask,
gosh.
like you have done both self-supported and supported, and at this point in your life, do you have a preference now that you've, had sort of multiple experiences with both? What do you think for yourself? I mean,
Honestly,
just for yourself.
yeah, for
Yeah.
myself, I love like I love the supported attempts that I've done. Like the AT, my support crew was Warren Doyle. He's like an AT historian. He loves the
Yes.
trail. Like
Mhm.
we worked great together, like had a really good experience. But I don't like I got curious about the self-supported stuff. Like my first Pinhoti Trail was my first self-supported effort in 2022. And I just sort of haven't gone back since. Like I definitely have found I prefer self-supported. And I think it's just like I like not I like being able to make all of my own decisions, and just I don't know, I tend to worry about other people, and like say if there's you know, a person or a group of people helping me, I feel like I'm going to be worried about them or worried about their experience, or want to make decisions that's good for everyone. And I don't know, I kind of like I think maybe it's just I feel like there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, even if it's kind of self imposed, because there are so many decisions that you kind of have to make in the moment and efforts like this. And I don't know, I just kind of like being able to have the freedom and flexibility to just do what I'm going to do and not worry about how it's going to impact everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not hurting other people's feelings. Like, oh, here, I
Yeah.
cooked you this omelet with peppers. And you're like, I don't want any peppers. I mean, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
You
and I know
know?
I don't it's like it's not that I don't want help or that I don't love like, have like I feel like having a supported experience like that can be a really special thing, but yeah, I don't know. I think
Oh,
it's
but
just like the The pressure.
Yeah, it's also the thing to think about is it's thankless, like to crew. I mean, it is like people definitely get a sense of fulfillment by helping other people.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I love doing that. But
Oh, me
it's
too. Yeah.
also like, like the things that that lots of us have done. Like I didn't, I said, you know, vanilla. I didn't want a vanilla bean goo. I wanted like just vanilla, and you put too much mix in this. And why did you put it in that bottle? And
That's too real. And you're like, I don't want to be a diva, but I said what I wanted.
yeah. And the problem that I have is that by then my brain is so tired that
Yeah.
it's like it's hard for me to even it's hard for me to even get it out to
You're
tell
not the best version of
people.
yourself.
Oh my God. No, not at all. So I have a question for you. As you've done these, I know that and Anna's gonna love this. As you've spent this much time on the trail, like one of the joys of doing that is that you work shit out, like the craft, right? Your
Yeah.
pack and where you keep things and how
Yeah.
your organization. Okay, trash goes in the right pocket. When we enter a place, we take the trash out there and we put we this is our operating procedure. And there's sometimes you discover something like today. I got to show you. My pack I don't like because it doesn't have a lot of access in the front. Everything's kind of in the back and hard to get to. So I got this little pack, a couple zippers.
Oh, hey.
Fits like that, fits my phone, and then fits like bars in here, and it's the best thing. And it fits right on my hip belt, right? And it's the best thing ever. I just decided today that it's the best. I tried it today and it was just wonderful. So I would imagine that you may have some similar things. Is there anything that comes to mind that something that you were like, oh, I tried this and I really like that. You have any
Ooh.
things like
Yeah.
that, like systems or stuff?
I'm trying to think if there was anything like new that came about, but what you're saying, I definitely relate to. Like there's something really comforting for me about setting up my tent at night and then, I kind of like shimmy into the tent and then I have all of my things arranged around me, like along sort of the wall of the tent. And I just know exactly where everything goes. Like the things charge here and like my dirty clothes go here. And I don't know, because when you're first getting started, it's really disorienting. Yeah,
right?
I'm just like, I don't know, like trying to get ready in the morning, like I don't know where anything is. And it takes me like an hour to pack everything up. And yeah, so it was exciting to just be able to get all of that stuff dialed in as I went.
Yeah, because I find that it's like it's when I have a system like that, as somebody who has ADHD, like I spend, probably 35 to 45% of my time looking for shit.
Yeah.
Or asking my wife where shit is.
Yes.
So when I'm hiking or traveling, I a lot of times I like to travel very light. There's a lot of joy in that just because it's a singleness of purpose, and it's like, where are my pants? I'm wearing them. This is what I got. My underwear. Okay, maybe I have two pairs. One's, the dirty pair, and then the really dirty pair.
Yeah, you have your like active pair and sleeping or like your town pair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
I was just thinking about this because I just did this event that was about a little less than 4 hours, and even though I had a very small pack on, like compared to your pack that you use for the PCT, there were a number of zippers or pockets like that I could access, but I could not find one thing that I was looking for. And I thought to myself, if only my zipper had like a little kind of tags coming from it with, that I could write words on to say like, these are where all the things are. I think I might actually do this because why not? Right. I mean,
yeah,
maybe sell
like little like waterproof.
We're selling those in in the Cultra store. We have those
Yeah.
for sale now.
Because it's like, how can I not remember where I'm sorry, I can't even remember where the thing is that I needed. For
What
like
am I
3
even
hours. I'm
looking
like,
for?
I can't find the thing. And I don't want to take off my pack because I'm like, just want to keep on going. And I don't want to take it off to deal with this. And I was so annoyed that I couldn't
so
remember
real.
where I put the thing.
Hey,
So
hey, Phred, what have you used anything in your packs to help? Like, do you have any systems that you use when you're out running like a longer event?
This is a bad question for me. The pack, I don't use a real pack ever. I only use one of those Scott Jurek things with the
Well, yeah,
bottles in front.
that counts. No, I'm saying I'm with you on that. You know,
Yeah, and what I put in there is uh water on one side, water mixed with Gatorade on the other side, and a bunch of little peanut butter crackers in the back. That's pretty much
Nice.
what I have.
and you know where like you put it in the same spot every time. Is that something you do or no?
Yeah. And I mean, I put the
Okay.
peanut butter crackers in a bag in the back part. But I also, I
Uh-huh.
mean, I have some electrolytes like in one spot and a few other things in different spots. But it's not, I mean, that pack is very uncomplicated. Like there's
Mm,
only a couple of different places to put stuff. So it's,
yeah.
although I was listening to Anna and I can say that I've been where I'm doing something that's a, moderate to longer effort. And so I'm hours into it and I'm sure I put something somewhere and it's not there. And
Mm,
I'm like, and that makes me very frustrated. Like I need this thing and it's here, right? And it's not there. And it's
mm,
because I probably put it in the wrong place. It's not like I didn't bring it, but
yeah.
you want it to just go like just the way you planned it, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I need a Tums now. It's going to be in this pocket and it's not there. And you're like,
No.
Yeah.
where is it? You know?
Huh. I think that speaking so like I think Ultimate Direction and the Scott Jerk Pack that you mentioned, I think that was when those were better defined. I think like the pockets, you knew that they were pockets. Like you look at some of the Solomon stuff, and it's like everything's like this slick, stretchy pocket, which is great. But it's sometimes it's like, well, was it in the top stretchy, in the top entrance or the side entrance? And like, I don't know. Lots of times I feel something, but I don't know. It's like I have to check 5 layers to find out where it actually
I,
is.
Yeah,
I can
like
tell
you
you,
know where your car key is, but you can't actually figure out how to get it
Yeah,
out.
right.
that's right.
There you go.
That's
I
why they
find the
made,
Salmon packs to be aesthetically less pleasing to me because they just look like kind of bulgy.
huh? They look like life preservers.
Yeah, kind
Is
of.
that
Like, like you can just stuff things in it, just like expands, like
yeah.
is yours red? You used to have a red one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a red one, a blue one. Now I have a whatever. I have one I got in Finland. Like forget.
I found them too hot. Like I had one, the Advanced Skin 12 or whatever, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought it was so hot in the summer. I just couldn't take it.
I think it covers a
Like,
lot more of your back,
yeah,
probably, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
right. And it totally makes a difference. So
That's my new Osprey is like it has this trampoline in the back and it keeps the pack like 6 feet off your back. So it's pretty good.
Liz, speaking of heat, like you had mentioned that it was very hot, right? And
Yes.
Mm.
did you adapt to that over the time that you were there? Do you think is this something that you generally like or don't like? You mentioned you live in, Boston area. You used to live in
Yeah.
Oregon. Like these are not deserts. So how did you
No.
experience that? And do you crave that or you're like, that's not for me or?
Oh gosh. I mean, it's been such a cold, brutal winter. I am really ready for some desert heat. And I even went to Arizona last month to just hike a section of the Arizona Trail with a friend. And I was like, yes, I'm going to
Uh-oh.
get some sun and blah, blah, blah. And it ended up being so cold and we got rained on and like all this stuff. But so yeah, there is a time and a place for the heat. But yeah, the heat on the PCT, I started in the Southern California desert in the middle of June. Like that's just because I wanted to make sure that by the time I reached the Sierra north of there, that the snow would be melted enough in time. So just like getting that timing was a bit tricky, but it meant I would have to hike, way later than most hikers were in the desert. So that was brutal. I tried to do some heat training in Boston. Like I signed up for a local gym and started going to the sauna, but like really that was it. I don't, maybe it helps a little bit, but yeah, I ended up, I mean, I did adapt and I ended up just hiking more at night than I had planned. So I think it was by the end of the second day, I ended my day under this bridge called Scissors Crossing. And I was just exposed out in the heat and the sun all day. I was dying. I found this bridge. I was so excited and like just got to sleep under a bridge for a few hours. Like I think I got there around 4 or 5 o'clock and slept maybe until 7, 8 o'clock. And then I might be getting the hours wrong, but I think I started hiking again at 9 o'clock at night and just sort of hodgepodged my way because I still slept at night, for short periods, but, yeah, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words, but basically I ended up night hiking as much as I could. And then during the hottest hours of the day, I would try to nap, but it would be so hot that you can't nap. So I would just try to rest in the shade when I could. So it was just kind of brutal the whole way, but I feel like I figured out just something that works for me. And then when I was looking back on the whole trip, honestly, the desert section ended up being my best section, like for whatever reason. Like I hiked the most miles per day in the desert and made the best progress. And I'm wondering if like maybe it's because it was just, I don't know, so unexpected and so brutal that I was like, well, I need to figure this out where I don't know. I think I had, I thought it would maybe get easier up north, but it definitely didn't. So I don't know. So it ended up being like a pretty positive experience. And I kind of learned how to, I feel like I kind of figured out the desert, at least for myself.
Yeah.
Very good.
And could you
go
find
ahead.
could you find water easily? I mean, like how did the water go? Like did you have enough water always or
Yeah, yeah. So I used the Far Out app, which has like a map, and it shows you like where you are on the map, and then you can see the water sources ahead of you. You can like tap on the little droplet water signal, and it'll tell you how many miles ahead on trail it is. People can leave comments saying, flowing or just a trickle. Like, people kind of contribute comments, so you get updates on the water. And then there are also very well stocked water caches that many of the highways that the trail crosses over. So there were some longer stretches without water, but I don't know. Anytime I did get to a water source, I would always chug a liter of water and put some kind of electrolyte in it. And then I carried, I think usually 4 liters was the most I would carry, and that was so heavy. And then I had an extra bladder that was my water filter, so I could carry 5 liters if I needed to. If I ever did that, I only think I had to do it once, but yeah, so it just, carrying the water was brutal, but thankfully I never ran out of water.
great?
I'm no expert on the PCT, but somebody was telling me just within the last week that most people start earlier in the year, so it's not quite as hot in the desert, and then they
Yeah,
end up
yeah,
with snow in the Sierra, I guess. But a lot of people
yeah.
start, I think, in March or April, probably, right?
Yes, yeah, that's accurate. So yeah, a lot of people are like out starting the trail already, which is wild. I'm like jealous. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, I know Colorado didn't get much snow. So did they get much in California?
No, I don't think so. I follow a few PCT Facebook groups, and people are posting photos of certain passes, and like some of them look the same way they do when I passed through in the middle of the summer last summer. So I mean, that's
Oh,
definitely concerning. Like if I were hiking, I'd be worried about water sources running dry, and I'd be worried about wildfires and things like that later in the
yes.
summer with everything being so dry. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I apologize because I don't know the trail that well, but does that go through Mount Hood as well?
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
It
okay.
goes,
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't go like so for the most part on the PCT, you're not going up and over peaks and things like that,
Hmm.
sort of unlike the AT, which does go over a lot of peaks.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, the PCT, it sort of like circumnavigates a lot of mountains. So yeah, it goes up to Timberline Lodge, which
Hmm.
is yeah, right on Mount
Yeah. Oh my
Hood.
gosh.
Yeah.
So you got a chance to go in and check that out and everything, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
You got
gosh.
the breakfast and everything. They have the famous
Ha-
buffet breakfast.
have
Yeah.
you guys ever been there or no? On Mount Hood? If you're ever anywhere near there, you got to stop in there. And now correct me if I'm wrong here, Liz, but so this was initially a CCC project, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just made by like imagine that you had like unlimited resources as far as people and unlimited time. Like you could take as long as you wanted to do this. They just made this, it's just massive, massive wood, and the fireplaces are just like
Yeah.
it's like the Hall of the Giants, and
It's
it's just
beautiful.
spectacular.
It's just
Oh my
like
I've
gosh.
been
cast
near Mount
stone
Hood, so I
and
got to get
wooden
back
beams
there.
and
Yeah, good recommendation.
yeah.
It is a that's a must see in the area. So um, so
My son
this
was
was
just on the PCT over by Mount McLaughlin, which is,
Oh,
in the same area. It's in Southern Oregon. Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's beautiful.
There's a little bit of snow up there right now, but
Okay.
because it's early.
Yeah.
Did you encounter, you mentioned that what you get nervous about while you're on the trail is the weather and the terrain. Did you, when you were up there, I remember in the movie, you were worried about being on snow, sort of on a cliff or something like that. Or
Yeah.
maybe I hope I'm describing that correctly, but
Yeah.
did that end up being, did you have scary moments around there, or was it
Yeah.
better than you
So
expected?
I was really nervous about going through the Sierra and the snow, like the snow on the passes, the high passes, because I mean, people, maybe on the flip side, the like being able to see hikers' comments on that app far out, it's great when you want to know if the water source is flowing up ahead, but people would write these comments about how bad the snow is, how dangerous it is, how la la la, like just and
mm,
so I was reading these comments and thinking, wow, it must be really bad. Like it sounds really bad. And even, in the days leading up to when I'm getting to these passes, so like they were new comments, but it's just a lot of it I think turned out to be it just like fear mongering, or like at least that's how I interpreted it, because I
yes,
got there and I
yes.
was like, this is fine. Like and it's funny in the film there's one part where I take my iPhone camera and pan over this bit of snow and I say, this is what I'm dealing with. And I was actually being sarcastic when I was saying that. But that does not come across in the
Oh my,
film. And
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
was so
oh,
sorry. I was like duped into thinking that there was something there was something
oh
mildly stressful. I
no,
feel
no,
terrible.
no. You are totally correct, because there is a part later in the film, which I
Okay.
think is maybe the part you're remembering, where I was like, I had to go over this ice, like the snow, and it was so scary. And
Mm,
that was true, but it just turned out that happened up in Washington. Uh, I'm trying to remember the name of the section. It's not coming to me, but yeah, I thought all the snow was behind me. Like I had dropped I brought these, not spikes, but like cleats. I don't know why I can't.
like micro spikes.
Yeah, micro spikes. I
Hmm.
had
Yeah.
dropped my micro spikes in a hiker box, like
Oh, okay.
somewhere other hikers can
Oh,
use it. And like a long time ago.
that's like putting away your snowblower. We don't do that shit.
I know
I
exactly. I
I
know.
literally today I went up a mountain wearing my spikes. I sat down at a rock at the trailhead and took them off. I took 2 steps and I did the whoops and almost went down, like taking 2 steps down. I
Yeah.
had 3 steps
It's
to
because you
take.
took them off.
Oh my God. Yeah, never do that. You should just wear them all the time.
You should. Yeah. It was a harrowing experience. There was this, yeah, like a snowfield, but I had to go straight across, but, to my left is a very steep slope going down. To my right, it's going up. Like I'm just on the side of this slope. And uh, it was before sunrise, so everything was just really cold and frozen overnight, and it was really slick. And there were some footprints, that I was able to follow that were already in the snow, but it was just very icy. And if I slipped, there's no way I could stop myself.
No way to
I'd just
arrest.
yeah, exactly. I'd be sliding down an icy mountain. And so with every step, I had one hike. I always just go with one hiking pole. So I took my hiking pole and just like jabbed the footstep in front of me, like for every single footstep. And in the meantime, so it was really slow going. And then the longer I was out there crossing that field, the more scared I got. So I was shaking, and I don't know, but also trying not to panic and take my time and not do anything stupid. So yeah, obviously I made it, but it was, I was like, that was dumb and dangerous and stupid. And I never want to do this. It was just,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing what, some of the things you can get away with. Like, and fortunately, like, at least a little bit. Like, I went hiking with my brother in Colorado, and I went up on some snow with him. And like, what I didn't know is that, like, where I come from, snow's like solid, right? Like there's snow on the top, the snow goes all the way to the ground, right? but here, these were like snow bridges, and there were like, drainage. There were streams underneath the snow that had hollowed out, and
so scary.
All of a sudden you take a step and you like post hole through to nothing. So
yeah, horrifying.
Yeah. Did you see any of that stuff, or did you experience?
Yeah, there were I think it was up on Muir Pass where, there were some like raging streams near or underneath where I was walking, and some of the stuff I was navigating at night, which made it really difficult because it was, so there was some sketchy stuff out there for sure.
Gotcha. So this was also an emotional journey for you, right? I sense that from watching, from watching the film. The beautiful part about it was that you didn't like, it's easy to say, okay, cut. We're not going to show this. Okay. It's going to be like, I'm determined. I struggle a little bit and I finish. Okay. And that's the storyline. We're sticking to it. Right. So, but you kind of, I felt like you kind of made it like a real experience for people watching. So what was that like? And did you feel like, did you know during the whole journey that the film was going to be made?
Yeah, I knew the film was going to be made. Like it was something we had planned. Like I met the film director, Anna, beforehand, and like so we, kind of talked about strategy, not in terms of like what I was going to be doing, but like just sort of like logistical things. So yeah, I have self-filmed my hikes before and put them on YouTube in just a very amateur way. Like you can find my Swiss Via Alpina hike and the Kungsleden Sweden hike. And there are times like I was watching those back, and I would say to the camera, well, I was in a really bad mood for 2 hours, so I didn't film any of that, and now I'm fine. But it was like, no, like if you want to keep it real, so you kind of have to force yourself to like document the bad parts or the vulnerable parts that like, you don't necessarily want to show, like I only want to show the like the, you know, positive stuff,
Hmm.
or that side of me. But yeah, for this, it was like, no, yeah, so I mean,
It
in the
seemed
moment,
authentic, I have to say.
oh, thanks.
It seemed very authentic. And
I'm
lots of times,
glad.
I've seen other films where people are doing like I've seen somebody running 100 mile and they're filming themselves and saying, I don't know if I can go on any further. And I'm like, dude, put down the fucking camera and run. Really? Come
Right.
on. What are
Like,
you
what are you
doing?
doing?
I like if I couldn't like if I'm filming, you're not even starting to like struggle. I mean,
Yeah.
from that standpoint, so
I think the lowest moments are definitely like the most inspiring as a viewer, for sure.
oh
Everything I'm thinking of that I've seen that's remotely like what you did, like those are the things that I remember.
yes.
Absolutely, so they are something you
Totally.
can draw upon when you're struggling in a much more minor way
Mm.
during any
Yeah.
kind of day thing that you might, ends after the day. Um, they just, yeah, just to think of what you had to pull through to keep on doing that day after day for so many days, so
Oh,
yeah.
thanks. I mean, yeah, I feel the same way, like watching, yeah, I don't know, like other like people doing cool things. I mean, from the outside, when you just see, like, oh, like there's that person winning that race again. Like, I don't know, cool. But like it
Yes.
seems like they seem like they're doing fine and never struggle. So, but like I know that's not true. And like when people kind of like peel back the curtain and show like all of the hardship, the work, like everything that goes into it, and like all of the failures along the way, like leading up to that big win. Like I'm like, okay, they are human. Like they're not just
Yes.
like, yeah.
Can I ask like maybe a two-part question? One is, what do you think is your superpower that allows you to do this? And maybe you'll say, oh, I don't, I don't, I think you have a superpower, but perhaps you'll say, I don't have a superpower. Anybody can do this. That is just not true. And then also like looking back on growing up, can you look back and say, oh, like the reason that I can do these things is because X, Y, Z as a child. Like it all kind of makes
My
sense now
parents
that I
made me
think about
sleep
that.
outside.
So
So
yeah, I'm just curious, like, what do you have in you that allows you to do these things and be successful at them and keep on going? Even, in your movie, like you said, I kept on going, even though I knew that my goal, like one of the goals at least, sorry, not the only goal, but one of the goals wasn't going to be achieved. You just, we're going to keep on going. So can you talk about that a little bit for, and maybe this will be less relatable because you clearly have something in you that like makes you successful at these things that other people can't seem to do, like
Oh,
everybody else in the world except for a few. So
that's not.
yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I think, and this might be like an annoying feature of mine, but like I think I'm pretty good at just focusing on the things I can do. Like so maybe like annoyingly positive, but like, uh, but yeah, I don't know, like when there's a limiting factor or something doesn't go the way you expected, it's kind of like, okay, well, we're done with that idea because that didn't work, but like what else can we do? And I mean that I guess for example, the very first day on the trail, it started like, la la la, I'm so happy to be out here. I'm finally living my dream. And then it's like, oh, it is so hot. Going uphill is really hard. I don't feel good. This is terrible. Okay. And then I don't know. So I think it's like maybe just figuring out a way to keep going, even if it's not what the plan was. And yeah, I don't know. I like when I think back like to the second part of your question, I I mean, I think that like I mentioned I joined my college cross country team. That was my senior year in college. Like I ended up starting a master's degree, so I ended up getting 2 years on the team. But I feel like being on that team, like we would run every day pretty much like no matter what. And I remember my musician friends being like, well, it's raining. You still have practice today. And it's like, well, yeah, we still have practice today.
It's
And
called double practice.
yeah. So I think even just like maybe being exposed to that or like that, like, oh, you can run in the rain and you will survive. And also kind of developing that work ethic. It's like, okay, it's icy outside, so we're gonna run stairs in the gym instead. I don't know. It's like just always finding a way to make it work. And then just I'll go back to one more thing, which like I feel like one thing my parents always emphasized to me growing up was like committing to what like whatever I say I'm going to do. It's like, okay, if you want to sign up for piano lessons, we will pay for your piano lessons, but you have to practice and you have to show up. So I don't know. Yeah, I think just like that. Maybe like work ethic, like committing and showing up, and then just like figuring out how to make it work.
Yeah, well, that's interesting you mentioned about the college team because a lot of people I'm around, we do it for fun. We're recreational. I did do track for senior year,
Mhm.
like spring of high school, but most of the time I'm just kind of doing what I want to do, and no one's like telling me this is what you're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate, and now I'm kind of like reflecting and wishing I had done something like that where someone is telling you to do something and you're just doing it, even if you don't want to athletically,
Yeah.
like you don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
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 Very good. Yeah, I was really moved by the part where you related your and I think we talked about this before the show started, where you talked about working on a musical piece and the idea that I don't want to release this song until it's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And then um, wanting to go for a run, and I don't want to do the run unless it's perfect. And I'm not saying that
Yeah.
you do either of those things. I'm saying that you said that you would you kind of learned to do just the opposite. And that the idea that if you waited for music to or whatever it was to be
Hmm.
absolutely perfect, you just there would be so much that wouldn't get released. I mean, maybe some things get released in the perfect state, but other things, you know what? And for me, that's a huge takeaway,
Hmm.
just because I have that anxiety about things where, I don't want to be criticized. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell were you thinking running up a mountain when there's still ice and snow up there without, all this stuff? Or, the day's not like I woke up this morning to just pouring rain on a metal roof, right? And I'm like, oh, and I told my wife that I was going to go in the morning, I'm going to go out and do this trail. Right. So,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, but also like, I also have all these other inside projects I need to do too. Right. So all of a sudden I'm like trying to justify doing those. And then for whatever reason, maybe it's like habit or whatever, I just said, okay, yeah, I'm going to go running. And thankfully it did stop raining a lot. It wasn't raining that hard, which made it a bit easier. But I was like, wait a minute, Art, you've run like I ran 60 miles in the rain. I've run, more than that in the rain.
Mhm.
I guess 100 miles in the rain. Like, why can't you do like 5 or 6 today? Right. Like, it's not going
Mm.
to, like, really, it's not going to kill you. Like, so go ahead and see what you got. So, and it was great.
Oh,
That it's,
good.
it's always nice. It's always better once the weather is always nicer outside than it looks through the
It
window.
could kill
So
you, Art, though.
it could, yeah,
Yeah.
it almost did,
All
but
right. Okay.
I turned
You
around.
pulled through. Good to hear.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So
Do you have any plan? And you don't have to like tell us secrets or any, secrets or anything, but do you have any like specific trails that you want to do coming up? I'm curious about if you also are interested in the higher northeast trails,
like the cut 112,
Maine, New
right?
Hampshire, where Art is, yeah, or Cut 112. Like, did those appeal to you for these FKT efforts, or just like you would be happy to do them, but you're not? I don't know. Just curious, like where your next sites are in terms of FKTs or just adventures.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as like New England trails and like getting up in the White Mountains and like those, like it definitely intimidates me just because of like I mean, depending on the length, but I don't know how to run in in the White Mountains. I'm like, it's like I don't know how people do it. Like I see, videos on Instagram and of people just sailing over these rocks
Yeah.
and boulders, and I'm just like, I don't know how you can do that and not face plant. But then besides that, just like the sheer, I mean strength like to cruise through those mountains. Like so I mean like I've done so at a very like at a snail's pace on my AT hike. But yeah, so I'm definitely I feel like I need to just get up there and explore and play, even if just to like add more tools to my toolkit, if that makes
Mm,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
before,
is,
yeah.
it's about adjusting what normal is, right?
Yeah.
Because like I always like I'll go running with Anna and at Sleeping Giant, and every time a park in Hamden, right, Hamden,
Hmm.
Connecticut, and
Hmm.
every time I go there, I'm like, oh my god, this is so much harder than I remember.
Uh-huh.
Like how do people run? How do they have shoes even after if they
Yeah,
do this every day? How do they even have shoes anymore? And it's the same thing with the whites. It is.
totally.
But people get, you know what, you do that and you get used to it. Um,
Right. Yeah. I think that's, and I mean, I felt that way about trail running in general when I first got into trail running. I was like, I don't know how anyone doesn't fall flat on their face. But then I started and I actually did roll my ankle many times. I tripped and I broke my elbow. Like I definitely had
mm,
some pretty major falls and learning lessons, but like I did get better. So yeah. But yeah, as far as what's next, like I came up with just sort of a fun projects for myself. It's not a new trail at this time, but I thought it would be fun to go back and hike the AT, but not as like an all on through hike. But I just have this fun slash crazy idea of going for all of the state section FKTs.
ah,
And and like I don't know if anyone's ever like I don't think anyone's ever tried to do all of them, but separately before.
Right.
And I don't like, I'm just kind of making it a goal to do like to run and hike all of the individual states, but still like within one season or like one year. So like I'm thinking of starting with Pennsylvania. I mean, I'm from Pennsylvania, so like that's
mhm.
where I grew up. Like start with Pennsylvania in May and then just sort of strategically, like not in order, uh, like kind of tackle each state, but then, go home and rest in between. So that I'm just kind of mapping out that idea right now. And part of, I don't know. It's going to be, yeah, again, like kind of crazy and also kind of a silly project, but I love the AT and it's just like I don't know, a fun
I
idea
think
I
it'll
thought of.
it'll be so cool because you won't have all the like looking forward or the baggage behind you. Baggage might be the wrong word, but you're just going to focus on that state. I just feel like it's going to
Yeah.
be a totally different
Mm,
experience, right? I don't know. That would
Yeah,
make sense to me.
absolutely. And like seeing it in a different way.
Yeah,
yeah, there
that's
is
cool.
something about running a complete trail. I mean, I haven't done PCT or the AT through as you
Uh-huh.
have, but just even to, I think any time that we run, and even if it's running up a mountain, right?
Yeah.
When you drive by it, it doesn't look the same. When you look at
No.
it next time, if after you've been to the top, it doesn't look the same.
Yeah, you have
It feels
a little
different.
more respect.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Will you do I mean, it sounds like you're doing your hiking FKTs and then I think do you do road races still a lot or like
Yeah.
where you fall? I looked at the ultra sign up and I didn't, I doesn't show the road races, so I don't have like that much
Right.
visibility, but yeah, what kinds
Yeah.
of things are you doing in terms of races, events?
Yeah, so I actually signed up for a road marathon. It's coming up in just a few weeks. It's the Jersey City Marathon on April 19th. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't the last road marathon I ran was a couple years ago. It did not go well. It was in the middle of grad school, and I don't know. I trained the best I could for it, but it was a pretty rude awakening. So I'm like, and I was trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon because it's like, well, now I live in Boston. It would be, I've run it before, but not while
Yes.
actually living here. So yeah, so I want to try again. I like, so in that last marathon 2 years ago, I qualified, but then it wasn't a fast enough time to actually get into the race. Like too many people that were
Gotcha.
faster than me had also
Right.
signed up for the race. So yeah, and I'm in a new age bracket. I just
Oh,
turned
that's
40 this year, so like that's a great advantage. I get another 5 minutes.
it is.
Yeah. That happened to me when I was 40, actually.
Yeah.
I got the under the time, but by like 2.5 minutes or something. And
Uh-huh.
I think it was the year after the bombing. So they had like
Mhm.
people, I don't remember, there were like extra people or something like that.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
got
remember
people who
that.
like
didn't
Yeah.
finish.
like my father passed away that year. Like there was no way I was going to be able
Mhm.
to do it, but I was like, well, I guess I feel good about the getting the time, but
Right.
I didn't make the cut, like the final
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it was funny because it was when I was 40. So I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. All these extra minutes.
I
Um,
know, right? Yeah. So,
well, good luck. So
oh,
that's in
thanks.
April. That's soon, like in
Yeah,
like a week.
it's
April
coming up
20th.
and it's been good because like I just don't, I don't really I can't really do a lot of like trail running or adventuring in the winter just because of I mean like I have, some jobs that keep me in Boston. So like I was able to get away to Arizona for a little bit, but just like road running just kind of makes the most sense for what I even have access to in the winter. Maybe you've run here, like I run loops around it's like the paved outside of the Harvard Stadium. It's just like
Mhm.
yeah, because like they keep it plowed and salted during the
Oh,
winter.
okay.
So when everything's snowed and icing over, it's like there's actually a place I can still run and be safe and not slip or get hit by cars. So yeah.
Mm.
But yeah,
Very
that's my
good.
next thing coming up, and it's just like yeah, I hopefully I'm gonna try to qualify for Boston, but if nothing else, it's just like a nice thing to have on the calendar to stay motivated to get out the door and stay in shape,
Mhm.
ahead of all the summer adventures ahead.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, Jersey City, that should be pretty, I would think that would be pretty flat, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because does that run at Liberty State Park or no?
I should know this. I don't know. I know it's like starting
Okay.
downtown. It's in a city. It goes through like the city
Hmm.
streets, but that
Hmm.
Oh,
that's about
okay.
all
Mhm. Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
from the map. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck. Good luck on that. We'll keep an eye out
Thanks.
for that. So,
I feel like I ran the New Jersey Marathon, and I feel like that was like in the beginning of May. So these must be very close together. I mean,
Yeah,
I
they
don't.
must be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Um, can I ask a question about your trail name, which is Mercury? Is that right?
Yeah.
And can you tell us how you got that trail name? What's the story behind it?
Yeah, so it is music related. So it was actually leading up to my AT hike. I was like, I need a trail name. And, I hadn't thought of anything yet, but right before I was heading out for a training trip with Warren, the person that was crewing me, I was like, ooh, we're going to be in this minivan. I checked with him and it did have a CD player. So I went to the local record shop, which also sells CDs. They had like a classical CDs section. And so I was like, I just want to find fun music to have, like on the road and stuff. And I found an album of planets.
Mhm.
It's like a symphonic suite. There's one uh, song
Right.
or piece per planet. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that seems cool. Then I popped it into the CD player in my car and was kind of flipping through the songs. And then yeah, the one called Mercury just sort of caught my attention. And I don't know, it's very like lively and sprightly, but then it also has this sort of emotional, sweeping arc throughout the song. And I was like, oh, this is how I feel when I'm out on the trails, just kind of like springing and bouncing along, but also like it kind of pulls at my heartstrings a little bit. So I was like, yeah, I think Mercury is it. Mercury is my trail name.
That's great. I play cello and I played in orchestra, so I played
Oh,
that and I love that. I mean, they're amazing pieces.
oh, I love
Could you
that.
do you think that people who haven't done through hikes can have trail names? Because I gave myself a trail name when I was with my friends a while back, and I always feel like a little bit of a fake. Like, am I allowed to have a trail name, even if I
Honestly,
haven't
I
done
say
the
so.
through
I'm
hikes?
like,
What are the rules
I th-
about that? So,
I think if you're a Patreon for Cultra, that you're allowed to have a trail name,
okay, all right.
right?
Well,
And usually we
then,
give it to you.
I
So
don't believe in gatekeeping of the trail names,
okay,
so
all right.
that's
I
right.
think it's
Yeah.
okay. And this
Well,
is
yeah,
coming from
mine
somebody
is
that,
music related too. I gave
yeah.
myself the trail name DJ Lynx, um, because at the time I
Nice.
was kind of doing like this sort of online DJing thing, and then I really like cold, so I thought Lynx. So I thought DJ Lynx sounds pretty cool. It's
I
like,
love it. DJ
yeah.
Links.
I
I
like it.
love it.
Very good.
That's an awesome trail name.
But I feel like I need to do something more substantial to earn it. But
Nah.
and where'd you get the and where the artist name Pink Feathers come from?
That was inspired by, so I like loved the band Garbage growing
Uh,
up. They have like the I'm only happy when it
yeah.
rains. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, I really admired the lead singer, Shirley Manson. Like she was just kind of like a hero of mine growing up. Like I just thought she was really badass and cool. And it was like in the 90s, like she kept a blog like on the internet, which like that was a
Mhm.
new thing. And just I saw like she would just like blog about being on tour and stuff, and then she would talk about like how she went running in a city, and I was just like, oh, like that's so cool.
Mm.
She's a runner, she sings, and I just love them. So anyway, Pink Feathers is just kind of a nod to them because the album art of like their first full album has just like a bunch of pink feathers in the
Mm,
background. So yeah. So tribute to Garbage and Shirley Manson.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you crossed paths with like Ben Gibbard in the Northwest because he's a distance runner and a musician from Death Cab for Cutie? Has anyone ever asked you that before?
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
funny, even though we're both from the Pacific Northwest or like lived there at some
Yeah.
point, I so I met him once, but it wasn't there, but a friend like we just had a mutual friend that said she was like, hey, my friend Ben's in town, like he needs someone to show him around, or like he's a runner, you should go on a run. And like so I
That's very
like
funny.
I'm like, oh, your friend Ben. Yeah, so like
Uh,
I rolled up in my Toyota 4Runner, like picked him up and like we went for a nice little trail run together and he was
that's
very
really
nice.
funny.
Yeah, and then he
Yeah.
gave like me and my friends and my boyfriend like tickets to his concert that night.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
I've seen him and you can tell this guy has like so much energy in his concerts. I mean, and it all makes sense, right? I think he's run like various 100 milers, but you can just
Yeah.
see on stage, like he has so much energy. And I don't know if he gets it from running ultras or distance
Right. It's like chicken
or
and the
it's,
egg.
yeah, I don't know, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that guy has a lot of energy. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe like when he's like, yeah, like not on tour, he's like, what do I do with all this energy? I better go run
yeah,
100
I think
miles.
so. Yeah.
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 Wow.
Hopefully people
So
know who we're talking about.
yes, I think most people, a lot of
Okay.
people do, right? So Liz, is there like, do you feel that you have that energy a lot in your life too?
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mentioned in my like life story in a nutshell, like I toured with the band for like 5 years. And I feel like there are parallels between touring and like the multi-day FKT attempts or just like
Mm.
multi-day hikes. Cause it's like, I don't know, you get in this rhythm of doing, yeah, this like very high energy thing like every day, or in the case of touring, every night. And I don't know, I guess they're in a way, I mean, because I'm like going for these big hiking goals, like it's kind of like they're both performances in a way, just like one happens to be an athletic performance, one happens to be like on stage and with an audience. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's something cool about like having like putting your focused energy toward something and giving it your all every day. And then just like, I don't know, doing it over and over. And it's like exhausting and energizing at the same time. Yeah, I feel like they complement each other
Wow.
or
Yeah.
they parallel each other. Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, like, when you first said that, I was like, okay, where's she going with this? Does that really make sense? Like that touring and this, and I can see it's like a world unto itself, right? Like your purpose is to go and do this show at night and then to get ready for the next show and then
Yeah.
to,
It's like a cycle.
and then,
Yeah.
yeah. And running can be like that, when you're out and you get the sleep deprivation and it's been, my job is to keep running here. So this is my whole life now is just what this is right now, which is just for somebody who has a mind that's going all over the place. That's one of the beauties of running is that it's just,
Yes.
it's singleness of purpose. It's just
Yes. Yeah. Which
keeps
is,
you on
it's
that
kind of
run.
exactly, it's hard to kind of find that in
Yeah.
everyday life, which can be a little more, yeah, just a little more chaotic and not as
Yeah.
simple. Yeah.
So so do you get I've found after a lot of longer efforts that I get like the post race blues, or just that I feel like kind of sad that it's like I say this
Yeah.
purposefully during every run. I say I'll be so sad when this is over,
Yeah.
because it is, no matter how much you're suffering, I always tell myself that, because it's true, is that the next day you're going to be like, yeah, today's a nice day, but man, I was out on that trail and it was it was very nice. I can't wait to do that again.
Oh no,
So,
yeah, it's so true. And it's like even you like you're saying you might consciously know, when you're out there suffering or crying or just being like, "Oh, get me off this trail." But it's like you're going to miss it.
mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, I definitely get yeah, like the post race blues or like the letdown, and like I even on a smaller scale felt that a little bit in the this past fall. So I finished the PCT in August, and then in October I joined the pit crew of this musical. It was a local production of a musical called Something Rotten, and it was yeah again like it was just a 2 weekend production, and we had some rehearsals leading up to it. But it's like I joined this yeah, like pit orchestra. So as in like we're playing kind of down below the stage. I was on keyboard, but we're all working together and collaborating and putting on this show together. And it's like every night we get kind of better and better at what we're doing, like becoming this sort of well-oiled machine, kind of like, having my tent set up and knowing exactly where everything goes and getting really efficient.
Yes.
But yeah, but it was just, there was something really energizing and thrilling about, yeah, like doing that every night. And then after it ended, like the last night, I was so surprised at like how sad I felt that it was over. And I almost couldn't say goodbye to everyone because I was just like, I can't even look at you. Like, I can't, like, but
Yeah.
just, yeah, you get attached to the thing that you're doing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. I think it's the thing that happened with me was that I had something like that. I went on a mission trip. You go a week, and I was leading a bunch of high school kids and the other adults leading it. And you're waking up and you're doing these tasks that you don't know how to do in construction, and you all, you're swearing, not swearing. Well, I guess sometimes swearing at each other, and you're going through all this battle together, and then by the end, in the beginning, you're just like, how am I going to even survive this? And then you get through the whole thing, and then when
Yeah.
it's all done, you feel like you know these people so well.
Yeah.
And then in my naive state, I thought, these are my new friends that I'm going to see all the time now. and
Oh.
then and then I happened to come back and do it again the next year, and it was devastating the second year because I was like, I know you guys. I feel like I love all you guys right now, but I
Yeah.
know the reality of it
Yes.
is that you're going to go to your life and I'm going to go to my life. And
Oh,
we might not even, we're not going to talk. And if I don't come back next year, we'll probably never see each other again, you
oh,
know?
it's
And
breaking my
it's,
heart.
oh my God. And it was like
Yeah.
all of a sudden you realize that. And it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Oh,
like, but when you're a kid, you just think like, it's like when you're traveling, you're like, oh man, I love, I love this. I love Catalina. God, I'll be back
yeah.
here like 50
Yeah.
times. Like, but no, I'm not going back. I
Oh.
probably, I don't know. I might make it back there, but I probably won't.
Like, listen, I didn't come on this podcast to be sad.
That's right. Okay. That's it, everyone. That's all I got. Phred, help us.
Oh, I have worse things to say. I've been roasted by my friends for saying to my own children who've moved, like I have a son who lives in San Francisco. And so I was out visiting him and I said, like, you and I will probably only see each other like 30 more times in my life. And my friends are
Oh
like,
my
you said
God.
that to your own
no.
son?
Oh,
I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
it's just true, right?
Morbid humor.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm good at morbid humor.
I'm
But
putting my
like
sad
some of my
hood
friends
on
are saying,
now.
you can't say that. You can't say that to your family member.
My
I was
God.
like, okay, point taken. All right, I get it.
Can anybody sing a song or something? Like, help us here.
Well, we have. I was going to
Oh,
ask you, yeah, like what do you have in current musical projects, either a solo or with other, are you kind of solo now, or do you have, what's your situation in terms of a bands versus solo and recording or concert, you know, um, performing and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So right now I have a few projects. I'm mostly composing like for other people. So that like composition was one of my degrees that I graduated with. The other one was collaborative piano, which is like more performance with piano. And so yeah, just like through people that I've met through the Longi community, like I have a couple of friends that started a viola and soprano duo, and like they're doing all this cool modern music and want to showcase new composers. So they asked me to write a piece for them. It's gonna premiere in the
Great.
fall. I have a pianist friend that said like, hey, could you write me a piece for my graduating recital? So like just things like that. And then another similar project for next spring. So that like this is music that like I'm notating, like I'm coming up with all the music, writing it down, but then like other musicians like bring it to life and bring their own artistry to it, like which is like that is a newer thing for me. Like I have written songs like and I've performed them as a songwriter, but like writing music for others to then take and perform, like it's such a cool feeling, and they make it sound so much better than like I could have even imagined it myself. Like it's like, okay, I have this idea and I took it this far and wrote down kind of my vision for it, but then it's just amazing how like they bring their own like humanity and artistic touch to it. So that's been a really cool part of like what I studied in school, and then like got to meet all these people, then kind of like continued to have this awesome community of musicians in Boston that like want to keep making music together.
Yeah. Boston. So, I mean, I played so much music when I was
Yeah.
living there, and it's just full of people who not even, just like avid amateurs, so many avid amateurs or
Yeah. Yeah.
professionals
Yeah.
too, but just tons of people
All
who
of it.
are
Yeah.
playing so much singing and so much great opportunity.
Yeah,
Super
absolutely.
exciting.
That's kind of like what keeps, like, I feel like Boston, it's like a perfect place for me just because, like, yeah, it has like so many like opportunities and like communities with music, but then, yeah, like access to all of these amazing mountains that are just like a few hours away too. So it's like a great blend of both worlds.
Yeah, definitely. I saw, I looked up and saw that you were playing flute with Saint, is that correct? Like when I
Oh,
was looking,
yeah.
was doing some research. I was like, she played a flute with Saint Lucia. I mean, I call it Saint Lucia. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. I know the band.
Yeah, Saint Lucia.
I was like, oh, she plays flute too. I mean, do you know how to play flute from being a child, or did you just
I
learn
learned how to play flute just like in band in fourth grade,
Okay,
and I played, up until high school. And then St. Lucia, like I just like we had like mutual friends, and the band that I used to be in, like we did a little mini tour with them. So I just got to know them through that. And then I forget exactly which show it was, but they have this song that has a flute part, and they were like, hey, do you want to come play flute with us on this song? So I just like came out for that one song and played with them. I think it was when they came through Portland one time, and I was like, this is so fun. Like I never get to play flute. And it's like still the same flute I had from fourth grade, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any like what's your favorite music popular or classical music to listen to at the moment? Do you have things that you're listening to and being inspired by?
Let's see. I mean, I really like, I like all kinds of music, but I'm like, who have I been listening to? I've been listening to Maggie Rogers. I really like her music. Adrienne Lenker. It's another, like singer, songwriter. I listen to her stuff a lot on the PCT, and I covered one of her songs in this. I played a show up at the AMC Highland Center.
Oh, cool. I was there.
Anna was there last weekend.
Why were
you were
concert then?
Up on Mount
I'm
Willard.
So not surprised.
Did you play it up on?
Awesome.
Did you play it up on Willard or?
It was. It was like they have this neat I don't know, like meeting space, and they had like a projector screen that I could use. So I showed just like scenes from the PCT and other trails I've hiked, and I brought a string quartet up with me from Boston, and I had a cellist, and she actually drove down from Maine. And we just like put on a little set together. But yeah, Adrienne Lenker, I like covered one of her songs, and then there was like original music too. But
great.
But yeah, so I feel like I love I don't know, like I love female singers. Like I don't know, so like I generally tend to listen to a lot of that. And yeah, I like classical music a lot too, like instrumental stuff, especially when I'm like sometimes I listen to music when I'm hiking, so I'll throw on like string music or something. Yeah.
Phred, did you have any closing arguments?
I don't, except for I should mention that somebody commented on me talking about the show tunes that I had on one of my iPods that I would listen to when I would run ultras. And
which show tunes?
Oh, it was Rent and Les
Nice.
Mis and Jesus Christ Superstar and
all the good
that
stuff.
little picture show, right?
Nice.
And so the person said, how could you possibly have done this without putting Hamilton on it? And I realized like Hamilton hadn't come out yet. It was like 5 years before Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that I just want to point out that it wasn't an omission. I think Hamilton's music would have been awesome. The Hamilton music would have been awesome. So,
right. Yeah.
And Anna, did you have any closing? I have two attorneys as co-hosts, so I can.
Well, I just thank you so much, Liz, for coming on and doing all these fun things that these are all things that I'm just like way into. So I'm looking forward to
awesome.
Keeping up with your journeys and music and adventures, whether they be FKTs or whatever they are. I thank you for doing them because I just like watching them. And I feel like even though I'm old, like I can still do certain things in my future. So like you mentioned, section hiking by state, and I'm like, that is something can be done.
Yes, it can.
I just appreciate the inspiration. So thank you.
Thanks so much. I'm so glad we got to meet. And thanks so much for having me on. This has been really fun.
Yeah, Liz, always glad to have it's really good to catch up with you here. And, just to remind people again, the film Ridgelines
Yeah.
is the name of the film, and I'm going to have a link to that in the show notes. Is there any other events or anything like that that we should um, let people know about, Liz? Or
That's a good question. I feel like I should have something in my back pocket ready to
yeah,
go.
not to put you on this, not to put you on the spot. And if you think of it after we get off, you can send it to me,
Yeah,
and
I
I'll put
will.
those in the show notes.
I guess I'll just plug my newsletter. Like I write a weekly newsletter. I call it Pink Feathers. It's just like pinkfeathers.substack.com. But yeah, I've been keeping it. So went from my daily updates from the AT back in 2020, but then I just sort of kept it as a blog, and it's usually just sort of like musings on kind of a lot of the same stuff we've been talking, like music and running and the intersectionality of it. So join my newsletter.
Yeah, you are
Definitely.
perfect. I'm telling you, that's crazy. Like to be able to, I'm like, you're like mentioning all these things that like I'm like, oh yeah, I should have like a blog and do that.
I always forget. I forget every
like,
time. And then it's like, oh yeah, I should actually say like how to find me and stuff. And I always forget. So yeah.
yeah. Well, that's great. No, so on Substack, yeah, we'll definitely and that's under Pink Feathers there, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm on Instagram, Pink Feathers, and there's like a link in my bio to my newsletter and all of that. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, Liz, thanks again. And if you ever come into the White Mountains or something like that, let us know.
Absolutely.
Any
I'll be there this summer.
Okay. Any events or anything like that, let us know. You should definitely sometime, I think a good goal would be to do the Cut 112. We'd love to have you come out and run that. It's a
Is that a specific race?
It is, yes. It's a race, non-race. It's a low-key race, but it's basically the New England Trail Connecticut section. So
Okay.
it starts at the Massachusetts border, and it runs through the middle of Connecticut, taking the Metacomet, the Mattabeesett, and then the Monunketuk Trail. And it's 112 miles the border, and then it ends at the water in Guilford, Connecticut. So it ends.
Oh, amazing. When is it?
It's the first weekend of June. It starts
Okay.
June 5th, and that's a Friday. So we start on a Friday just to give people time so that so that they can get home from work Monday, or that their crews can.
That's very considerate.
'Cause otherwise, it all of a sudden it's Sunday night at like 3:00 in the morning, and that's not.
Oh yeah,
Monday morning.
yeah.
So,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. So highly recommend. So we also have a 50 mile. If anybody,
I know some people who have disputed the characterization of it being so much fun.
Well, okay. I was so sad when it was over, Phred.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
So if I'm so sad when it's over, that's kind of evidence proving that it's actually fun.
I think it takes a little bit of grit usually to get through that.
It does.
I saw Oak over the weekend. Oak Miller, and we were talking about the cut, and he was like, "Yeah, that was really hard."
Yeah, it is, but it's hard, but it's also, according to certain people, it's also easy. The only requirement for this race, it's 112 miles. It's about 17,000 feet of climb. It's rugged trap rock Connecticut trails, a good part of it. There is a little bit of roads, but that's at the end. It's like the ride into Paris at the end of the Tour de France. And but the big rule is that you can't sleep. You're not allowed.
Really?
Yeah, you're not.
What? I'm out.
You're not allowed to. Because otherwise, it would be a stage race. So I want it to be a one.
No, you're totally right.
A one thing, because I literally am at the finish line generally for 24 hours.
Oh, yeah. You can't let it like get it spread out too
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're sleeping and I'm
Wrap
sitting
it
in a
up.
park, something's wrong with that
Exactly.
picture. So
If it's Tuesday morning, you don't want to be out there
that's
anymore,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that is fair.
yeah. So all right. Well, Liz, uh, thank you so much for joining
Oh,
us
thank you so
tonight.
much.
For all of our listeners out there, first of all, thanks to all of our Patreons, people who support us. As you guys know, we don't have any commercials or anything like that. We rely strictly on listener support. So we appreciate you guys. If you've made it this far, of course, seek professional help. And we will see you all in a mile.
Mile and a half.
Mile and a half.
All right.
Art, you hit your cue on that closing music perfectly. That was
I
really impressive.
did. Well,
Because
I,
a lot of times, there's a little gap there.
okay. So Fred, I have to tell you this. Being that I'm broadcasting from the northern headquarters in Lincoln, New Hampshire, I don't have my setup here to do the music, or I was concerned about it. So I asked Anna if she would play the music tonight. So
Oh,
that's
so she hit the cue perfectly.
Oh.
she hit the
Ah,
cue purposely
see,
because
you know what that is,
otherwise
Art? That's Harvard Law School. That
it is.
that, you
That's some
know?
that's graduate level shit right there.
Yes, that's right.
I can
That's the
tell.
good
I
stuff.
know about these things. I didn't go to
Well,
county
you might
college
say
for a
it's a
semester and a half for nothing.
musician's sensitivity,
Ah,
Right?
there you go.
perhaps
Correct.
like
That's right.
timing. I don't know, rhythmic
I
Yeah.
timing.
yeah.
Anna, you
I
came in
always
perfectly right
Right,
that was exactly
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
just
Intuition, spot
in
on.
fairness though, I did give the cue, right?
You
So
did, you did. That's
that
correct.
helped.
I saw you.
So
You gave me the feedback. It's kind
that's
of like
right.
music when you're playing together. We were like doing a little chamber music with the
That's
Yeah,
right.
thing.
yeah.
You know?
You're like, yeah, you kind of breathe together.
Right, right.
Yeah.
This is like episode 353. So we're starting to get our shit
Wow.
together a little bit,
Amazing.
Yeah, and you were on 112. So
That's so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Man.
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that
Um
was that long ago?
it was, right?
It's
Something
blowing
like
my
that.
Wow.
mind a little bit. Yeah, six years
Hmm.
or yeah, 5, 6, yeah, something like that. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
because I think it was like, yeah, because you would. Hey, did
Yeah.
I hear that you did and I was gonna, this was one of the things that I wanted to check out before the show started. Did you do a song in Wednesday, or did you have some kind of a
Yeah.
involvement in that? I heard. What was that about?
They licensed a song that I wrote the melody and sang the melody and the song. Uh, so it was like a song I co-wrote and they
Mhm.
licensed it to use in their show. So
Oh,
if you go
cool.
to it, I mean, it's in the first season. I think I have it on my lizderstine.com website of like which episode it is, but it's like
Mhm.
what Wednesday goes to the high school prom, and like she's entering the prom, there's a song playing, and it's like, hey, that's me, that's my voice.
That is
Oh,
really
very
cool.
cool.
That is really
Very
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
And
it's so
and
cool, and
now
I like.
you got that, and now you're on the Culture Trail Running podcast, right?
Right, I know.
I
Look at me
mean, all of a sudden
now.
shit starts to happen, right? I mean, that's great. Things are looking
Yeah.
up, right?
No, it's so cool though. You just like, you never know. Like, I have no idea how they discovered the song, like whatever
Mm,
person's in charge of the music. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of the, it's like opportunities or things that come my way. It's because you just kind of like put stuff out there and you never know like who's gonna
yes.
see it or who you're gonna
Yeah.
meet. It all feels pretty random, and it's cool when things work out.
Yeah, it is. That is interesting. My son's doing voice acting right now. So
Oh, no way.
he just so he's constantly sending me like he's doing it full time now. So
Good for
and
him.
paying his mortgage with it, which is like, holy crap, you
That's
can do that.
amazing.
He just
Paying his
sent me
mortgage
some.
at all. That's the key, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. He just sent me, he was doing an Orkin commercial. And I'm like listening to the voice, and I'm like the exterminators.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, whose voice is that? Because it sounds, he does the voice in the beginning of our show. Like he did that whole,
Oh, cool.
he produced and wrote, and the ending music too, he did. But he did, I don't know, he does all that stuff. So it's always fun to see the stuff that all of a sudden he's getting, like video game voices and AI voices and
Wow.
all sorts of stuff.
It's a neat like peek into that world.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, I'm talking about my kids, so I think it's probably time to go.
It's a good thing you don't have grandchildren, Art. We'd be here all night.
No shit. That's like, who knows? That could be. Just to be clear, the following is not Liz Derstine.
Huge thanks for tuning in. Remember, Cultra is 112% supported through Patreon. No ads, no sponsors, so you'll never hear us trying to sell you a subscription to Canadian Trail. Fishing magazine, pheasant rash cream, or anything like that. Patreon helps keep us running, makes you podcast famous, and lets us know who's actually out there listening. Plus, it helps us feed the monkey, and monkeys hungry. Not ready for Patreon? That sucks, but okay. You could also subscribe to the show wherever you listen, and then the episodes will be automatically queued up for you. Also, be sure to thank our Popdust famous Patreons when you meet them. And don't forget to join the Cultra Trail.